Hello my friends and welcome back to the rabbit hole. In today's video we are going to be talking all about the brand Amorepacific. I did do a trial using 12 of their products. I've talked about my curiosity with this brand before, and of course you know me. You know I was collecting some little samples so that eventually I could test out this brand. Well, I had redeemed a point perk at Sephora, already had started collecting my samples, and then Amorepacific sent me their 12 Days of Essential Beauty Advent Calendar, which is 12 mini sizes. Could not be a better fit for my channel if you tried, just couldn't be. That set is actually still available on the Sephora website. It's $65 with a $98 value. If you are interested in testing out this brand, in this video, I'm going to take you through my thoughts on all 12 of these products. Let's start with a little backstory on Amorepacific. This is a Korean brand that is more in the high-end luxury pricing and feel with all of the products. They began in 1945 and they definitely have that botanical approach that you see in a lot of Korean brands. In fact, there's something really interesting about the way they formulate their products that I've only ever seen in at least one brand that I've personally tried. And that is, rather than use water as the first ingredient, because all skincare is, well, almost all skincare is very rich in water, instead of just using your standard H2O, they actually replace that ingredient with items like bamboo sap, green tea water, ginseng water, just to kind of give you that antioxidant kick from the very first ingredient. So I found that very unique to the brand. Now, Amorepacific is a luxury brand, and much like other luxury brands, they do have a characteristic scent to the products. It's very light. It smells like rich people, for lack of a better explanation. Do you know what I mean by that? I know, because I work on movie sets and I'm around those people that make millions and millions of dollars. It's an interesting experience when you're around them. Not only do you absolutely wonder how their bodies are sculpted to such Grecian perfection, but you get close enough to them and you're like, how? There is absolutely a scent of wealth, and it's amazing. That's all I can say. And these products smell like that. It's really light, enjoyable, not overbearing, and I didn't find that scent was too heavy. I think that anytime you're talking about scented skincare, it gets really difficult because you don't know what ingredients are hidden under that parfum ingredient in the list. Have we ever really talked about why some brands scent their skincare, especially more expensive brands? It's worth you knowing if we haven't. So basically, that ingredients list that is under the ingredient of fragrance, that is protected information that a company is not legally required to disclose. It helps them to protect their formula, and more importantly, it helps them to protect against fakes. You know, for example, you open a bottle of Lancome skincare, you know the smell, you know exactly what it smells like. It protects both you because you know what it's supposed to smell like, you know that is an authentic product, and it protects the company as well. The reason I think it's so tricky is that because you never know what's in there, you never will actually be able to identify, oh, these are the scents, the ingredients within this that do break me out. Now, in my experience, none of this did cause me to break out. In fact, the only time I did finally get a little pimple over here was after I ran out of the moisturizers a couple days ago. We'll talk about all of that. But in my experience, unlike some brands that do have scented products and do break me out, this one did not. All right, let's get into individual product reviews. I always have a struggle of how to format this. I think I'm gonna do this from favorite to least favorite because I prefer that format when I feel strongly about products. And I'll tell you right now, there is a product in here that I cannot imagine living without at this point. I hate to say that, but it's true. And then one where I don't know what happened, at least in my experience. So we are going to start with my absolute favorite product from this brand, and that is none other than the Treatment Enzyme Peel. This retails for $60 for 2.5 ounces. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh, I don't want to come off as that person that's saying, oh, this is the best thing I've ever tried, because to me that sounds so disingenuous. But to give you some background, I am a giant fan of the June Jacobs Papaya Enzyme Purifying Mask. It's a fantastic mask that I've been using for probably about 5 years at this point. Now for me, anytime I use a product that contains enzymes, it is an instant reduction in fine lines. That enzymatic action just dissolves dead skin cells. It basically resurfaces my skin and the effects last for days. I don't like talking about that specific mask though because it contains triethanolamine, which I've talked about before. Not necessarily a bad ingredient unless you're allergic to it, but up to 10% of the population is. And if you are allergic to it, it's not a small allergy. You will break out in hives. Example being, Jen Loves Reviews put that product, the one that I'm telling you I loved so much, as her worst product of 2018 because it seemed to me that from her results, she had a triethanolamine reaction. So here's the good news, and here's where I'm going with all of that. This is that same type of product, a papaya enzyme peel without the triethanolamine in a more concentrated formula. This is a powder that you rub into your hands. You massage into your face for 30 to 45 seconds, wash it off, and then bam. For me, the results were so massive. I was just like, this little thing did that, and it lasts for probably 72 hours. Just an incredible product. Not even overpriced in my opinion. $60 for 2.5 ounces of this. This size is 0.2 ounces. Can you even tell I've used it? I used this twice so far. This is gonna last you a long time. So at the very least, if you know that you react well to enzymes, oh my goodness, I do recommend this, but if you don't know, at least try a sample, because for me, this was just one of those, how have I been living my life without this experiences? Again, I know that's a lot to say, and it gives me conflict about saying it, but whoa, I am so glad that I tried this. That's all I can tell you. And it's funny too, I've talked about this before. I'm always kind of looking for the characteristics that a skincare brand delivers. Like, you know, what does this brand target the most? And I can't tell if this brand just gave me glowing skin as a whole. You know, not the most acne fighting brand, but great for anti-aging purposes. I can't tell if it's the whole brand or just this product because of how potent this one was. So needless to say, you gather how I feel at this point. I really liked this. Next up on my list is actually a moisturizer. I feel like I'm really picky with moisturizers, so I'm quite surprised by this. But this is the Essential Cream Fluid Moisturizer. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is an alcohol-free product. This retails for $98 for 3 ounces of moisturizer, which is actually a lot of product. The reason I liked this so much is you can see how lightweight this is. Super lightweight, alcohol-free product, and the fragrance is the last ingredient on this list. So actually, compared to the other products in this line, this one has less of a scent to it. But the reason I like this so much is that in spite of feeling so lightweight and feeling like nothing on, it's actually delivering a hefty dose of hydration. One of those products where I can say, okay, this is fantastic under makeup. This is going to work if you have more oily skin. It's still going to give you moisture if you have dry skin. And that's something that, to me, that's hard to achieve. And for this product to have done it in such a beautiful way, I'm very, very impressed with it. Like all of Amorepacific's products, this contains a hefty dose of antioxidants as well. They claim this has 150 baby green tea leaves per bottle that you purchase. Just a really nice product that I think a lot of people will enjoy. Then I've got the Treatment Cleansing Oil for face and eyes and the Treatment Cleansing Foam. Now the oil retails for $50 for 6.8 ounces and the foam is $50 for 4.1 ounces. As you can see, I did not go through a lot of these products, and that's something that I really like to highlight about more expensive brands. If you kind of want to dip your toes into a brand, purchase a product that's going to last a really long time. Some of your best bets are always to go for the cleansers, and of course some are better than others. These are both absolutely gorgeous products. The treatment oil removes every bit of makeup while you enjoy this luxurious spa-like experience from how it smells. Again, it smells incredible. And I've said this before too, when we're talking about scented products, I find for me, there's almost never any correlation between breakouts and scented wash-off products, so I'm a lot more comfortable recommending cleansers, cleansing oils, even masks than I am a scented leave-on product. You know, I always read other reviews as well, and a lot of people were saying they've had the full size of this for well over a year. Makes perfect sense. Again, it's a really good investment if you want to purchase something that's more luxurious. You know, obviously you can pay less for this type of product, but again, if you want to enjoy the experience of this type of brand, something like this is a great option. This is the Treatment Cleansing Foam. I'm hoping you can see that this is a standard foaming cleanser and still has a couple of these little exfoliating beads. So you get a really light exfoliation and also a light foaming effect. I didn't find this to be as stripping as the generic cleansing foam. It's definitely more dry skin friendly. They're just both such beautiful products. And then the treatment toner. I really liked this as well. This retails for $50 for 3.4 ounces. And this is where you start to see that first ingredient being a different type of water. In this case, it's ginseng. Now this does contain alcohol. I still found it to be very hydrating in my experience. It gives you a huge dose of hyaluronic acid. It's also got licorice, ginger, all those types of botanical ingredients that I've found work well on my skin. You know, we're talking about those ingredients that are by their very nature antimicrobial. So I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a fantastic hydrating toner, and it kind of surprised me. It really did, because I see alcohol in the ingredients. I'm like, uh-oh, it's gonna be drying, but this one actually was not. Now I'm super surprised by how much I liked this. This is the Moisture Bound Skin Energy Hydration Delivery System. It is a mist and it retails for $35 for 2.7 ounces. This is actually great as a setting spray. Yeah, I know, I wasn't expecting it either. We're actually kind of delving almost into makeup territory, in my opinion, with this product, but whoa, it's a beautiful setting spray. So it does have alcohol in it, but it gives you a giant dose of antioxidants. It's got the finest mist too. You know, if I love a product enough, I won't waste it by spraying it into the air. I'm spraying it right on my face. Really, really liked it. Could not believe how much this extended my makeup wear. And hopefully you can see that's a really fine mist, even on the sample size. So yeah, I was really impressed with this. I know I've said this before when we start getting into pricing, but there seems to be a specific structure for American skincare pricing, and it typically involves serums and night balms or night creams being priced a lot higher than just your standard moisturizer from the same line. So I'm always kind of amazed at the fact that Korean skincare does the opposite here. Serums are usually not as expensive. Night creams, oh my gosh, sometimes you get so much product for so little money. And this is such a perfect example of that. This is the Moisture Bound Sleeping Recovery Mask. This retails for $60 for 3.38 ounces. That's huge. That is huge. And with this product, Amorepacific says you can replace your moisturizer for night, or you can just put this over your moisturizer. Either way, you're going to be getting a huge dose of antioxidants into your night routine. The first ingredient here is bamboo sap. It has copper, it has ginger, it has fermented ingredients. It's just a gorgeous formula. It does contain a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of fragrance. So just keep that in mind if you're sensitive to those ingredients, but otherwise, wow, this is a lot of product for really not a lot of money. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. I don't want to jinx it for us in America. Can we keep that price? Okay, this next grouping of products is where I start to experience some major inner conflict. Starting with the Vintage Single Extract Essence. This is a very popular product from Amorepacific. If you look up the brand, it's one of the top products that you'll see discussed because it's beautiful. It's a gorgeous essence. Now, this product is going to give you a massive dose of antioxidants without any side effects. This does not contain alcohol. It is not a scented product. It is purely a vintage green tea, and what they mean by that is that it is a more rare form of green tea, apparently off of an island where they only have a limited amount of crops. And in addition to that, the green tea leaves are fermented for 100 days, so you end up getting this absolutely gorgeous formula. Now, the reason this gets tricky for me is that this retails for $145 for 4.05 ounces. I have a lot of cognitive dissonance about the price and the ingredients list. And I noticed that this product has almost a 5-star rating. There are a ton of people saying, cannot believe what this did for my skin, all of which I understand, and then a couple of 1-star reviews from people saying, I can't get past the ingredients list. Really, I kind of feel the same. I want to buy it. In fact, if you are a very wealthy person watching this, you should totally buy it. It's incredible. On the other hand, if you are not that rich, much like myself, read the ingredients list. I think a lot of the conflict I have with this is that I do respect what they're doing, and I do respect that it is something that is more precious because of it being more limited. You all know the game of limited edition. Have you ever been in a collecting community? You know that if something is more rare, it's more valuable. But I guess it gets into this question of, well, but how much more valuable? And that's where I am just experiencing a mental roadblock with this. Again, I love it. I love it for the effects, for the results. It won all kinds of awards. It's a beautiful product, but it's real tricky. It's real tricky for me, you guys. Here's another product that I have a lot of inner conflict about. This is the Moisture Bound Rejuvenating Serum, and this one is actually priced fairly reasonably for a serum. Like I said just a moment ago, this is $100 for 1.7 ounces. Now, you know, if you're American, usually $100 for an ounce for a high-end serum is pretty standard. And here's the thing with this honestly reminds me a ton of the Suasu First Care Activating Serum. It's gonna do a very similar action for your skin. This does have a hefty dose of alcohol, but remember that alcohol is a penetration enhancer, so anything you follow it with is going to be absorbed into your skin better. And true enough, this is a very fast absorbing serum that's gonna give you a ton of those plant-based antioxidants. But again, like I've said many times before, if you're using alcohol in your skincare, you gotta watch what actives you use with it. I'm telling you, this is holding true no matter what I do. So again, I think if you're following a full Amorepacific routine, this is going to be a fabulous addition to your routine. On the other hand, if you have if you're using a bunch of Peter Thomas Roth products and then you think, maybe I'll buy this serum, it's pretty cheap per ounce, proceed with caution. So this brings me to the Moisture Bound Refreshing Hydrogel and then the Moisture Bound Rejuvenating Eye Treatment Gel. This gel retails for $150 for 1.7 ounces, so that is definitely more of an investment. And the eye gel is $85 for 0.5 ounces. Again, a little bit more on the luxury side of things. I don't want to do too much of a review on these because honestly, the set didn't give me enough to really form an opinion. So the moisturizer, you get 0.1 ounces, and it's a very small amount. It's almost what you'd get in a foil pack. So again, I just don't feel like I really developed my thoughts on either one of these. This you get 0.1 ounces, so I was able to use the eye gel more. However, when it comes to both of these are certainly scented and they do contain alcohol. Now, in all truth, I think I liked the Moisture Bound gel a decent amount. It seemed a lot like using the Belief moisturizer. But I guess for that same reason, I kind of am running into inner conflict because yes, it's a very, very nice, lightweight gel, feels luxurious to use, plays really nicely with makeup, but I kind of feel like there's a lot of products on the market at a much lower price tag that essentially do the same thing. Again, maybe your results vary if you've tried this a lot more, so please feel free to comment below if you have more experience with this than I did. I think I got about 3 days of use out of this. So, I feel like I'm doing a skincare first impression with this, and I'm not comfortable with that. I like to use it for 2 weeks. And with the eye gel, I guess my opinion is it's kind of similar, except this also contains alcohol, which, of course, by now you know how I feel about that. I've learned that alcohol can get along with my skin okay, but I'm still real cautious about it in my eye area. That's just me. I'm sure I read the reviews. There's a lot of people who love this, again, because it does play so beautifully with makeup. But for me, with where I feel about these, they're not going to be products that I personally repurchase. Again, please feel free to comment below if these are products where you've actually used up a whole jar, for example. I never want my I use this for 3 days opinion to override somebody who's been using it for 2 years. You know what I'm saying. Now, last and least, I've talked about this before. You're pretty much never gonna have an entire skincare line work out for you. And for me, the biggest disappointment from this brand was the product that I was probably most excited about. And again, this is because when you create an excitement level and it doesn't live up to it, you end up disappointed. This is the Botanical Radiance Oil. It retails for $105 for an ounce. But if you've watched my channel, you know I'm into oils. I like knowing what they are, what they do. I've got it mentally compartmentalized in my head. Okay, sweet almond oil for this, rosehip oil for this, argan oil for this. I love my oils. So I was so excited about this. I was like, oh, a botanical oil. It's going to give me a bunch of antioxidants, right? really exciting. Now, I've noticed a lot of oils these days are not listing a specific oil as their first ingredient. Instead, they'll use water most likely. And the reason you would do that is to lighten the oil, because a lot of people don't like oil, especially if you have more oily skin. The last thing you want to do is slather on a bunch of oil, right? So I feel like Amorepacific had a good direction going with this. The first ingredient here is green tea water, which in itself could have made for an exciting formula. And I noticed in the reviews, there are a ton of people who are saying that this is the only oil they've ever been able to use on their oily skin. So quite possibly, that's why it didn't work out for me. I do have a more dry skin type, and when I grab an oil, I want it to feel like an oil. But then beyond that, I just felt disappointed in the fact that, sure, you've made an oil for more oily skin, so you put alcohol in it, which is gonna make it even more oily skin friendly, right? But then the first oil you actually get to is castor oil. I don't know, it's just, for me, that was just too disappointing. I thought, oh, maybe it'll be, who knows, macadamia oil, something more, unique to Korea. So ultimately with this product, it just didn't do for me what an oil does. Does that mean everybody's gonna hate it? No, of course not. I read a bunch of reviews from people with oily skin who loved it. But for me, I had built up an expectation and excitement about this product, and for my dry skin, it just didn't deliver. So overall, that is my experience with the Amorepacific brand. I can't wait till the Sephora VIB sale so I can buy a full size of that treatment peel. You guys, it's so good. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to Amorepacific for sending me this set to review. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.